Hey, y'all doing out there? All my fellow loungers, chillers, ballers, and grillers. That's the wrong podcast for that. Oh, well. Welcome. It is Saturday the 12th, 2 days before Valentine's Day. This is Tune In Live. Mike, you're welcome to come in, man, if you want. And today I'm gonna shit the fuck all over Twitter. And it's gonna be nasty. It's gonna be very nasty. And I'll tell you why in a little bit. Also, we can bring up a little bit more information on the whole Joe Rogan experience thing with Spotify and more artists that are part of the whole censorship thing with Spotify. Oh shit! Here comes that steak. Had me a nice tenderloin right before the show. Let's see how that does right there. So anyway. Last couple days, last 3 or 4 days, last 2 or 3 days, if you guys haven't seen, I did a couple game streams. I had a audio issue the last few streams that I did with gaming, and for whatever reason, my audio would cut out from my capture card, and I would have to deactivate and reactivate the capture card in order to get the audio to resurface. So I think I fixed that. The next time I do a game stream, I might do a game stream tomorrow. I might do some more Biomutant, or I might surprise somebody and do some Call of Duty or something. Actually, you know what? No, Crossfire is finished downloading an update. I might play Crossfire X and show you all how bad that game really is. Because I've already did a video on it, a video rant and review on it. If you guys missed that is on my YouTube channel, Arrow Entertainment. So be sure to subscribe to that if you're watching. Hit the notifications for when videos are uploaded and when we go live for any kind of streams. But I did a video. I put it together yesterday. Oh, there's Mike.
Hey, I was just texting to see if I was live on there because I had to come back in and come back out.
Yeah, I got you.
Yes, gotta do Crossfire X. I've been seeing a lot of previews about your Crossfire X. I watched that video yesterday. It got me interested to see what it looked like.
Oh my god, dude! Like when I played the multiplayer the other night, it was just so bad. I mean, I didn't even have the single player yet. I just got the single player, and the multiplayer. It's like playing Counter-Strike on PC, but it's like a poor man's version of Counter-Strike, and just the overall gameplay. It doesn't feel like there was anything there. It just feel like a bland shooter. But I mean, there's probably a couple things that I missed here or there with it, because on Facebook I follow some Xbox forums on there, and people were just asking, has anybody played Crossfire X? What do y'all think about it? I heard it was garbage. I heard it was good. And I'm like, well, I'm torn between it because the multiplayer is trash. The single player, which I did get to play a little bit of it last night before I had to end up doing some other things around the house. And I gotta say, like, the single player isn't even all that great either. I mean, they've tried with it, and I'm pretty sure it's very nice looking, because I haven't really
I've
hooked
seen
up.
the graphics on it, like on previews on YouTube. I was looking at them. I was like, it don't look too shabby. But thing like you were saying, some of those games like Army, what's the Army game that's on there? AA.
Oh
Army
yeah.
AA, whatever. It's a shooting game. It's like that. I'm guessing, right? With multiplayer.
It's not an army-based game. It's basically a shooter. But I know what game you're talking about, and we can talk about that for a little bit here too. Let me look that up. What is that? Army.
It's Army something, because I got it downloaded, but they're discontinuing it after March.
Yeah. I saw that. Let's see. Army. Let's see. Being discontinued. If I can spell right here.
And then there's that other
America's
game that's
Army.
out there that's Insurgents.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess it's just like that, ain't it? With AA and Insurgents, all that combined into one with the with Battlefield 5. I'm guessing is what you're trying to talk about.
Well, this one, it's
because I've seen the previews of that. Like you said, I've seen the previews and all that. But the thing about it is, it's like you said, it was like a Battlefield 5 or 4, like with a little bit of futuristic stuff. I'm thinking it's more like Battlefield 4.
Oh no, that's not what I said at all. I said it makes Battlefield look like Halo or some shit. That's how bad the game is.
Battlefield, I'm not a real big Battlefield person. I mean, I played Battlefield back on PS2, which was actually better because you had a whole bunch of maps. You didn't have to pay so much for it.
Yeah.
But now it's like, good Lord, how much more Battlefield are you going to continue on with the same kind of crap? You know what I mean? Battlefield 4, with all the maps included, I think was the best Battlefield. Hands
And
down.
well, there's no doubt, yeah, because everybody still goes back to Battlefield 4, even though there's not as many servers open right now, and there's not as many people playing, especially on PC. But Battlefield 4 is still the go-to for a lot of people. Even Battlefield 3 still has a big following on it. 3,
the cop one.
No, this one, it was a little bit more modernized around, like, you know, the Iraqi war or whatever, where they were trying to do it like that. Now, Hardline is the one with the cops.
Yeah, Hardline. I know Hardline was pretty fun, but that can also get boring. But
yeah,
I'm trying to think of which one was it that you could fly the helicopters and all that bullshit.
Oh, you can fly helicopters in all of them.
Yeah, but I'm talking. I think it's 3 or 4. It's one of those two that, you know, you could blow up the big old building that collapses down on you and can kill you and shit. And ride around. And I think it might have been 3 I think it's 3.
Oh, they all do. So that's the thing with Battlefield. When it came between Battlefield and Call of Duty, Battlefield was more realistic because you had realistic destruction all around. So you could blow a whole building up with somebody in it, and it'll collapse around them.
Well, see, which one was it that was World War I Battlefield?
That was,
which one was that?
Battlefield 1.
Okay, Battlefield 1 sucked.
I enjoyed it for what it was.
Right.
See,
Battlefield 3 didn't play it. Battlefield 4.
Well,
played 2 and 4.
Well, the original Battlefield games from way back when, they mostly focused on World War II. There was one on PC that focused on Vietnam. Battlefield 1, which is called Battlefield 1, that came out back in 2012 or 2013, somewhere around there. That one was decent. It had mixed feelings with the audience. I did like it. The multiplayer was very interesting, especially, you know, you're riding around on horses and shit. You know, you can get on a horse and ride around and all. And they made it look like it was the future version of World War I. But what got its criticism was the fact that there was female soldiers in there. And a lot of people were like, "Why is there female soldiers in World War I?" I'm like, "Well, there
was female soldiers in World War II and 1.
Exactly. Like, even if they didn't draft them, there was, you know, women who did volunteer for the war who signed up
and all that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think which one was it. The recent one after 4 was the World War II one, right? What was after 4? I know there's 5, but is that World War II or is that World War I?
All right, hold on. I'm gonna look that up on Wikipedia.
Because I bought a deluxe pack one time, and I remember I bought one of them. I think it gives you Battlefield 5 or something. I tried it out, and I didn't like it.
Okay, so starting way back in 2002. Now, back then, the Battlefield games were releasing on PC and Macintosh. You had Battlefield 1942, Battlefield Vietnam, and that was 2002, 3, and 4. Then when it came to 2005, they started releasing it on modern consoles like PS2, Xbox, and 360, which is Battlefield 2 Modern Combat. And then you had all the expansions for that came out on disc, which was a funny thing because, you know, back then, even though we had internet, you know, we didn't rely on going to the internet and downloading DLC. You had to go out and physically buy, you know, the disc for the DLC content.
Yeah, you had that dial-up internet too back then.
But there were so many. I'm looking at this list. It looks like there's like 20 or 30 different versions or variations of Battlefield that released in the past, goddamn, 20 years now. So
20 years worth of Battlefield. That's mostly on PC though.
Well,
consoles are only 5.
Well, here's the thing: PC in the last 20 years has seen all but 3 versions of Battlefield. So, of course, Battlefield's going to release on PC anyway. That was Battlefield 2 Modern Combat, Bad Company, and was this Battlefield 1943. 1943 was specific to.
I thought that was a DLC from 2
No,
or 3.
that was a very specific online only variation for PS3 and 360. That's all that was.
Yeah, because I remember playing it on. I thought I was playing it on maybe Xbox 360 or PS2 or something.
Yeah.
That they I didn't know there's like a DLC that added on if you got the included bonus with the when you first came out on pre-order, you got that extra map.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, and that's what that 1943 was.
But yeah,
because remember when you bought them pre-order at midnight or something,
mm-hmm.
and you went up to GameStop, they give you all sorts of bonuses and stuff, and I thought that was part of 2. Because I know 4 came with DLCs after, you had paid $50 for all of them.
Yeah, I'm getting up to
I
that
think it was
too.
$50 for all of them. Then after that, they started making them free. After that, I think.
Yeah. So I got into Battlefield back in 2005 because I remember in 2004 in high school, all my friends in computer class were talking about Battlefield Vietnam. It was fresh and new, just came out on PC. And I had never played a Battlefield game or a Call of Duty game at that point. It wasn't until like 2005, right around the time when I first got my first full-time paying job. I started going out, like I'm paying bills, but I'm also like, okay, I'm going to go out. I can buy some video games if I want, buy CDs, stuff like that. So I bought Battlefield Vietnam from a PC. And I think Call of Duty, the first Call of Duty that came out, I bought that as well.
The first Call of Duty was black.
No.
It had to been because that's when Call of Duty started taking off.
It was a regular World War II shooter. It didn't have no multiplayer. It was straight story. It started on PC.
No, the game Black, the one that had the bullets on the cover of the screen?
Yeah, it's black. It's called Black. I know what you're talking about, but that wasn't Call of Duty.
That wasn't Call of Duty? I thought it was because I thought it was made by Activision.
No. Black was made by EA. Black was Electronic Arts back then. Call of Duty was Activision. See, back then, all these shooters that were coming out, they were competing with each other on consoles and PCs. Like Halo, Battlefield, Call of Duty, Medal of Honor. That's when the whole shooter craze came out. Even though games like Wolfenstein, Duke Nukem, Doom, GoldenEye, they revolutionized it, or they were the start of it. But then when you got to the modern era, the 2000s, that's when they started putting games like this on more modern consoles like PS2, Xbox, and PC, and that's where it blew up right there. And then, of course, the first game, like I said, the first game I played from the series was Battlefield Vietnam, which was pretty fun. It did have an online mode, but I didn't really play online. I just played offline with the bots and all. I still had a blast with it. Now, the next one that I didn't get to play until 2008 when it came out was Bad Company. That was the one that was a little bit more hilarious. It had a comedic tone.
Yeah, that
to
one
it.
You could drive the vehicles and shit, and that was fun.
Yeah, you can still drive vehicles in the older ones, but you were limited to it. But with this one, it had a comedic style to it, like the grenades. When you hold a grenade, the grenade pin had a little smiley face on it and shit.
Yeah, but wasn't there also in Battlefield 2 that there was a map or something? It might have been even in whatchamacallit. It might have been in multiplayer that you just go up in that little Jeep thing and it was actually doof, 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 the grenade launcher shits. Those were fun.
I can't remember that. I mean, I don't have to go back. Yeah, I would have checked that. Let's see,
The grenade launchers were fun on them games. Like
they were.
The RPGs, everybody had fun with the RPGs because, especially on 4, that if you hit it at a certain angle, you can blow up the fucking thing.
Yeah.
Like it was awesome. Like everybody's like, okay, and then that's when RPGs became pretty popular. Now in Call of Duty, everybody uses them. Dead.
Pretty much.
Like, oh, you fucking RPG user.
The next one that I did play, which came out about a couple weeks ago, we got Bad Company 2. Bad Company 2 wasn't as comedic as the first one, but it had a little bit more serious tone to it, and I enjoyed that. And then, of course, 2011, we saw Battlefield 3, and that changed everything. That was...
Yeah, that was
modernized.
Controls flying out helicopters and shit on that one.
I remember seeing the gameplay footage from E3, and I was astounded with how realistic and looked at the, mind you all, realistic looking at the time for 360. Like back then we had PS3 and 360. When you seen this type of game,
when you seen it 360 was $500 when it first came out.
Remind everybody. No, that was PS5. That was PS3. PS3 was $500, $600 because it was the first.
It was also if $396 plus tax for $400, and then if you got the 2-year warranty and shit, I think was what made it up to $500.
No,
I remember because I got my taxes at that time when it first came out.
Well, the 360 when it first came out, there was variations of it because you can get the standalone, which was about $300. Then if you want to get the hard drive expansion to it, that was an extra $50 to $100 right there because you could save your games in two different ways. You can use the memory card, which the 360 was the last console to implement the memory card, whereas like the PS2 did it before that, the PS1, all that. But with the inclusion of downloading games from the store and people were bulk saving games and all, you had to buy the hard drive separate. So that was an extra $50 to $100 right there. Now the PS3 when it came out, that was $600 flat because that was the first console to implement
the Gen 1 version of it though, right?
Yeah, the Gen 1 version, but it was the first console to implement the Blu-ray player because Blu-ray was taken off
by I thought it came out on the second gen.
No. DVD. Well, when it comes to generations of video games, we'll save that for another story or another time, but PS3 is where the Blu-ray really took off because Blu-ray was becoming a big thing. It was the next form of digital entertainment, not digital entertainment, but physical entertainment, and Blu-ray players were running up to about $1,000, and PS3 was the cheapest alternative to it. You can buy a PS3 for half the price, and you can still watch your Blu-rays on it, just like back when PS2 released. DVD players were still $800,000-$900,000, and the PS2 came out, that was like $300 right there. So you got a cheap DVD player that you can also play games on.
Right.
So Sony marketed that, pretty well.
Also, I'm thinking PS1 came out. Remember when you put music on the PS1s?
Yeah.
And you got the little wave, like the little you can make your own little rave in your house and just put a disc in, and you just have to do is change the screen. I forgot I think it was the down button on it.
Yeah, the music player on there was pretty fun. I played around with it quite a few times.
I had fun with that shit.
Even some PS1 games, I didn't know about this until I tried it around that time. I had a few PS1 games. I had Die Hard Trilogy, Tetris Plus, I had Tomb Raider 2, and a couple others. And one day I just put the disc in my regular CD player because I had one of those boom boxes back when boom boxes were also things.
Popular back then.
Yeah, and I put it on there. It's like track one wouldn't play, but when you stopped the disc and it would have multiple tracks on, I was like, this is interesting because track one on those discs was the game itself, so it's not going to play in the CD player. But when you skip to track two, that's when you get the game's soundtrack on it. So the music that you hear in the game plays on the CD player.
Well, what's even funny with that? Sometimes, like if CDs wouldn't play in your CD player, all you had to do is put in your PlayStation 1 because it has that MP3 plus that you can play any kind of music on that.
Yeah.
Besides the video itself.
But yeah,
that was the fun times then.
But yeah, it's amazing how those.
Buddy's house in the middle of the night, go there, play underground, and have pizza and sodas or whatever back then. Yeah, I'll beat your car's ass and talk shit and get your ass kicked.
Oh yeah, I remember those. We'll save that for sometime next week. We'll talk more about video games and shit right there. Because where we were getting at, guys, was we were talking about Crossfire X, which just released on Xbox. I'm not sure if it's on PS4 or PS5. I'm not too sure.
I don't think it is.
Yeah, because we started talking about comparing it to Battlefield, and we started listing all the Battlefields that like even still looking at the list right here, like Battlefield 3 had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 DLC packs that released between 2011 and 2013. And then in 2013, you have Battlefield 4, and that's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 DLC packs between 2013 and 2015. And then 2015, we had Hardline. That's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 DLC packs within a 2-year period. And then, of course, Battlefield 1, which was not a reboot, but it went back to World War I because the Battlefield series was already going through World War II. They went through Vietnam. They went modern. They even did the cop CSI kind of shit, bad boys, what you going to do kind of thing with Hardline.
Good cop, bad cop.
So they went back to World War I. That had 4 DLCs. But yeah, that one wasn't as popular. And then Battlefield 5 comes out, and that was a little bit more popular. More people enjoy that. I enjoyed that, definitely. That has, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 DLCs between a 3-year span. And now you got Battlefield 2042 that came out, and that is just complete hot garbage right there. And
I see what they're doing with Battlefield. And I don't know how they're going to compare, how they're going to have competition with Call of Duty, because Call of Duty's been popular for a long, long time.
Well, Call of Duty came out around the same time as Battlefield, and I think Medal of Honor has them beat by a year. No, by a few years, because the first Medal of Honor came out on PS1.
I think Battlefield's run its course. Personally, I think they're pretty much done for.
Unless
they're going to repeat the cycle over again, then that's just kind of stupid.
Well, that's pretty much what Call of Duty's doing at this point, because Call of Duty...
Well, there's supposed to be a 2024 one, I think, or some shit.
Well, there's a leak right now. It's a rumored leak that there's a Modern Warfare 2 coming out and Warzone 2.
No, that's Warfare 2.
No, they said Warzone 2, and it could come with Modern Warfare 2. So they're gonna continue from the Modern Warfare entry that came out 3 years ago.
Yeah, the thing here now, Mike, and you could probably agree with me on this. Probably, I'm not sure. Are they going to stick all this on one fucking server like they've been doing with the other 3?
Crossplay?
Vanguard, Cold War, Modern Warfare, Warzone. They going to stick that shit in one freaking server?
Oh, are you talking about the interface? Like when you load up a game and it brings up...
Yeah, because that's dumb bullshit.
It is.
Personally, the thing... I mean, I love Modern Warzone and Advanced... The first one that came out. Like, also came out with Warzone and called Cold War. Those 2 are my favorite out of this whole entire series so far, until I see what 2024 one's going to come out.
Yeah,
I'm interested in it.
But yeah, that was the one thing that they shouldn't have done, was that interface bullshit, because it does slow down the console. It, like, when I load up Call of Duty and I'm sitting here like, oh, I gotta wait 5 minutes because I gotta wait for the interface to load up. Then I gotta select the game I want. Then I gotta wait for the game to update. Then I gotta restart it, do all this. It's stupid bullshit. Like, why not just load a game up and go right into it like we used to? Like, we never had an issue with that with Black Ops or Modern Warfare, like the 360 version of Modern Warfare. We never had that issue. But now,
even Resident Evil doesn't even do that shit, and that's the most popular.
No other game does
in the world.
Exactly, no other game does. Like, when you got a franchise like that, no other game does. It's like, what the hell are you all doing? I think it's Activision's thing, but then there's another thing that goes along with it. Like, okay, when you install one of the Call of Duty games, and they try to be as generous as possible when it comes to limiting your space on your console, because they know that everybody who owns an Xbox Series console or a PS5,
like 1 terabyte or 2 terabytes.
Yeah, you only get a terabyte of space unless you find some kind of way of expanding that storage. So what do? You can install the game, and then you can manually separate the gameplay mode. So let's say you play the single player, and you get everything out of it. You beat the game, you played the fuck out of it, there's nothing else to it. and you just want to play the multiplayer, now you could just uninstall the single player portion and play the multiplayer, or you could play the zombies version of it, which it's a hit or miss with that. But then there's the option, there's the other thing where if you're playing multiplayer and they release some DLC for it, these new map packs, then you got to install those, and you don't even know there's a new map pack out, so you got to wait for that shit to install. Gaming this generation has proven to be very tedious. It's proven to be very tedious, and it's like you could complain about it as much as possible, but know this: we've evolved with it. And of course, as gamers, we're going to stick with it to the very end, because I've been playing video games since I was 4 years old. My dad had an Atari. Yeah, my dad had a 2600, and all the game consoles that have released since I've played that, I thought that was all the consoles that were out. But then, once I start watching YouTube and following up with, different gaming information, I start learning about all these consoles that were out there. I'm like, holy shit. We're looking at literally right now 50 years of video games in home. I mean, video games have been out longer than that, but when you're looking at, the home video game console at home on your own TV, it's been 50 years. And the Atari wasn't the first console. It was the Magnavox Odyssey, which a lot of people don't know about or they forget about, but that was the very first console to make its way into the home. And then, of course, it evolved over the years. Consoles implemented cartridge exchanges. You could put different cartridges in there, and they have their own data, their own gameplay. And it's amazing how video games have evolved over the last 50 years. But we'll save that for the very next episode of Tune In Live, where we just go all out talking about video games.
I figure let's do like a half session of this and then another half session about Twitter. I figured.
Well, I can
build up towards it.
Well, I can get into the next thing that you brought up earlier.
I was actually going to ask you a question.
Okay.
About something. What is your favorite console that you've owned, and the reason why?
See, when this kind of question comes up, it's always a tough issue. Because I liked every console that I have enjoyed and interacted with, but I do want to say deeply, my favorite console has got to be Dreamcast. And, because it was the last Sega's last attempt to make a console and put it out there and actually, get good praise for it, because they had duds in the past, the Sega CD, the Sega 32X. Saturn had its time. Like, Saturn was hit or miss, but it was really good over in Japan, whereas over here in America, it was hit or miss. So, competing with Nintendo's, 64, PlayStation, and, Nintendo was working on the GameCube at the time. Sony was working on the PS2. Dreamcast had that one last chance, and they released the Dreamcast on 9/9/99, which was an interesting date to release it on. But why it's my favorite at the top is I have so many memories with this console, and it's not just it's a lot of personal memories. Like, my uncle, he had a Dreamcast, and he had a lot of good games to it. And I remember when we were just sitting around playing games like Soul Calibur, was it Sword of the
Dead?
Sword of the Berserk. He did have House of the Dead, Resident Evil Code Veronica. That was the only console at the time it came out on until PS2 came out. Blue Stinger. There was a lot of good entries on that console that came out, and you know what? Maybe one or two games were complete duds, but they were playable. Other than that, just about, I want to say over 95% of the library for the Dreamcast were all good entries. They were good, solid entries, and they really made the Dreamcast what it was. And I know people complain about how the controller was shaped. I'm like, well, have you played with the 64? Like, I enjoyed the 64, but
Oh yeah, I
the
love the 64 Star Fox and GoldenEye and
yeah.
a couple of the other good games that was on there.
And it's like, don't get me wrong, I love the 64 for titles like that. But when it came to Dreamcast, I love the controller. You know, the way it fit in my hand, it just fit perfectly. You know, the grips fit, you know, very snug in there. You had the one joystick. It was one of the consoles, aside from the 64, that implemented the 4-player plug-in ports on the front of the console. It was a disc drive, but it wasn't just any disc drive. I forgot. I think it was like VDM or something like that, video music disc or something. And it was a different format. Plus, the graphics with this console, with the games, the graphics were very smoothed out. They weren't polygon. Well, some of them were polygon, but they were very smoothed out. Like, if you remember how jagged and pixelated the graphics were on PS1, and if you didn't really, you know, if you didn't mind the quality of the game and it was still a good game, which is what I always went with. You know, I went with quantity over quality because I didn't care too much how a game looked or resembled. You know, it was still a good game. But with Dreamcast, they pushed the limit with their hardware, you know, when it came to games like that, and everything the graphics were smoothed out. The gameplay was very fluent and very smoothed out, you know, with every entry you played. And, you know, just the VMUs, the cutscenes were always amazing to watch. It felt like if you watch a game today that's playing at 120 FPS, at 120 hertz on your monitor or whatever, with how fast and smooth it runs, that's almost maybe slightly comparable to what Dreamcast had back in the day. And I like that. I like the games. Like I said, it had a good library of entries, and I liked how the jewel case. It's just a little thing for me. The jewel cases that came, you know, that housed the games themselves. You know, just like the cover art, it was very uniform style. I liked the way it was uniformed. You know, uniformly presented uniformly. Well, however you want to put it, but I just liked how, you know, just if I were to just get like a collection, if I were to collect for the Dreamcast, you know, like physical copies and everything, you know, it was just, it's so uniformly presentable, and I like the way it looks. I like the way it feels, and like I said, nostalgic wise, you know, sitting there, you know, sometimes hours on end with my uncle, you know, we're playing certain games on it, you know, and even this was one of the first consoles. Now, mind you, over in Japan, they were working on what was called the Nintendo Double D for the 64, where you can connect online and you could download games, download updates, you know, use a web browser on it. That was only in Japan, but it got discontinued. Over here, one of the first game consoles, well, aside from, I think the Sega Genesis had something similar, but it didn't really pan out.
They had the X32, and they had something else.
Well, it's related to internet. It's connected to the internet because the internet was a big thing at the time. But the Dreamcast was one of the first consoles to implement a dial-up modem that you could connect, and you could get on the internet. You could play games online like Phantasy Star. There was a few other games that you could play online. Plus, you had this AT&T web browser disk that you could put into the console, and you could browse the web on your TV while connected to the internet. That was a very unique thing at the time with that console. So there was so much to the Dreamcast, and even more, just like today, to this day, when I got my last Dreamcast a few years ago, and I was doing a lot of burning. I even did a video of it on one of my older channels a few years ago. You could burn and copy Dreamcast games to blank CDs, and they will play in the console. Because that's one thing Sega never really did. They never really looked into why their consoles were playing bootleg games. You know, there was never a lockout chip or any of it implemented. You know, they just released it as is. And then I guess somebody one day just figured, hey, let me burn this game and we'll see if it works, you know? And it did. So you can burn a copy of Soul Calibur, and Now your buddy up the street has a copy of it. You know, you don't care about the case. You just want to play the game, and it plays in the console. So that was one. That was one of the consoles, the first consoles to implement that. And I think that's where the Dreamcast kind of went downhill. Was doing
all that because of if you kind, it's like making music CDs now. Everything's digital, and that's why Napster and all them got busted with $1 million.
Exactly. Bootlegging is what killed the Dreamcast because you put a game out, like let's say you put out House of the Dead, and you're sent to ship out 2 million copies at start. Are you going to sell those 2 million copies? You may sell 2 million copies, but if you got every kid in America, mind you, this is 1999, 2000. You got every kid in America who knows this trick. You know, they can go to Walmart and buy a stack of burnable CDs for, I think at the time you could buy 50 for 25
for like 10
or
to $20.
Yeah, and you can burn those games, and now all 20 or 30 of your friends has a copy of House of the Dead for free. So now you got companies.
Now you go out there and make copies and beat the seller itself with copies like that. Like if they're posting for $50, $25 a copy, bam, 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 you make at least twice as much profit as the seller is.
Exactly.
That way.
So now, you know, that was what killed Sega right there. You know, like even though it was short-lived, and another reason behind why it was short-lived was because, you know, Sony was releasing the PS2 in 2000, you know, just that very same, you know, a year later, and Sony blew everybody out of the water, you know, because their graphics were just as good as the Dreamcast's, or just a little bit better. Plus, plus they implemented a DVD player to it. You know, that's where a lot of the sales kicked in.
There went DVD sales too.
Exactly. You know, everybody was getting into the DVD craze, buying DVDs. So now, you know, they were looking around for the next DVD player, and here you go, the PS2, the cheaper alternative, $300. You know, as opposed to going and buying an actual DVD player for $600, $700, $800. And like, why would I pay that much? I'll just get a PlayStation 2. It plays DVDs, plus I can play games on it, plus it's backwards compatible with PS1 games. So you got a 3-in-1 right there with one console. So with sales of that, and plus with what was going on, you know, with Sega and the bootlegging. You know, Sega, the Dreamcast went under. You know, it was only good for maybe about 3 years before it went under. But that's like one of the lost hidden gems right there for me is the Dreamcast. You know, I have deep nostalgic love for it for those reasons. You know, that's why Dreamcast is my number one favorite console up there.
Could you imagine even today if Dreamcast was still around? Of how much shit somebody can get.
See, they've tried a couple times, but then, you know, it would not work out today. You know, it would not work out today for Sega.
It's funny you say that because if you now noticed how, remember when the PS5s came out and you could hardly get them?
Yeah.
Well, all the PS3s and 2s were gone for some reason.
Yeah, they started discontinuing the older consoles so they could focus more on the newer consoles.
Yeah, but they all ran out of them. Like, everybody started buying 2s and 3s. I'm like, why the hell is everybody buying the 2s and 3s and 4s all of a sudden now for?
Well, there's that, and plus, you got to remember, on YouTube, there's a lot of gamers and game reviewers out there, you know, that people watch. Like, one of the biggest ones, and I've talked to an associate at GameStop a few years ago about this, and it's true. When you watch somebody like Metal Jesus Rocks, who reviews a lot of these hidden gem games,
oh yeah, that guy's cool as shit.
Oh, yeah. I love watching his content. But that's one of the reasons why, like, let's say prices of video games have gone up, and why a lot of these video games are being bought out, because they're being sought after. They see somebody reviewing it, and they're like, holy shit, he says it's that good, and I like what I'm seeing. I got to find this game. So, of course, you know, the prices are going to go up, because the more sought after they are, the more expensive they're going to be, you know, because somebody, let's say you own a copy of, all right, a game that I'm looking forward. I'm hoping, Xbox brings it back to their marketplace. Shadows of the Damned. It was a game from Capcom, and I got into playing it, and I enjoyed it until they discontinued it from the store. But if you look online and you see the price for it, that game is going for like $40, $50, $60 physical. I'm like, Jesus Christ, and that's
because PS is going to own it.
No,
whether you like it or not.
They're not gonna. No, they're not gonna own it. It's an EA game, but it's not the fact of that. It's one of those older games. It all comes down to copyright issues. That's why games are being delisted from stores right now. If you're looking for a particular game and they say, okay, this game is getting delisted, which means they're taking it off the store. For example, I bought, I think it was sometime last summer, Forza Motorsport 7. That game's been out.
Ain't that the new one?
No, well, it's sort of new. It came out about 5 years ago.
Oh.
And that one, it came out, it was one of the most popular racing games on Xbox. And
that shit on PlayStation.
The most recent one is Forza Horizon 5. But Forza Motorsport 7, they delisted it from the store because Microsoft lost the... Well, I don't want to say they lost the license, but their license expired for the cars.
Yeah, they didn't renew the contract or some shit like that.
Something like that. Yeah. They could have, but I guess they didn't have the money for it, because you got to figure you got like close to 1,000 vehicles in that game, and you got to buy a license in order to use those particular vehicles in your game. So when it comes to licensing and copyright, you got to pay out royalties. You got to pay out for licenses for the soundtrack of the game. You got to pay out for the content that's in the game. Like, okay, it's a racing game, so you got the likeliness and realness of actual vehicles in the game, and you got to pay out licenses for that. So when the licenses expire and it's just too much money for them to put out, you got to figure, I don't know how much a license for a Ford Explorer in a Forza game costs.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
But then again,
that's how people make their money with them licenses and stuff. Like, if you don't get the license, you could be sued.
Exactly. And my thing is like, okay, Microsoft can pay out millions of dollars to buy Activision Blizzard.
Like, what, billions?
Oh yeah,
like what, billions a month or whatever.
See, like right now, what we're witnessing in the video game market is a monopoly. It's not about console wars anymore, because people have looked beyond that, like with me.
And that you're saying that, also, something that I caught my attention when you was talking about like the discs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now since everything's gone digital, and I'm starting to feel bad for GameStop in a way, because GameStop's going to run down the hill if they keep going digital.
It is.
Which I like digital, because digital, yeah, it's hard to sell, but here's the thing. If you don't want to play it anymore, you could always reinstall it. And with the digital, your disc starts getting scratched and you can't play it. Unlike digital, boom, you can play it anytime you want.
Now,
and that's why I think now consoles are going to start leaning more, and this is my projection through the future. It's going to start going more digital than discs.
Well, right now it's balancing out right now, because when it comes to physical, there are still a lot of people out there that go physical. It's better, because you got to figure, if you're trying to download an entry online, or you're trying to access it, let's say you lose internet connection, or let's say something happens with the servers or whatever, or let's say you lose the account information, or your account gets hacked on Xbox or PlayStation, and you can't get that back. That's money that you've lost right there. That's one big reason why people still go with physical, because when you buy physical, you own the game, and you own a copy of that license. When you buy a game, you're not fully buying it to own it. You're buying a portion of that license to own the game, which is it's always been a copyright issue for the last 50, 60, 70 years when it comes to any kind of media, whether it's music, video, or games. When you buy something, you're buying a piece of that that contract. You're buying a part of it, and plus when you buy it, you're basically, you don't even realizing it, but you're agreeing to terms that, okay, I am buying a piece of this license to own for my personal entertainment, and I'm agreeing not to distribute it in any way that is bootleg or illegal. If I distribute it illegally in a bootleg form, then I understand that if I get caught, that's going to be a big hefty fine. Was it $20,000 or something like that, and up to 5 or 10 years in jail or something like that. That's
some are gonna be your bitch.
That's why when you see on VHS tapes back in the day, when they had that little FBI warning on the screen and they're talking about copyright laws and all that shit, that's basically all they're doing is telling you. You just bought this video cassette. Now, this is what's funny about this. Like, I've been reading.
Here's the funny you mentioned that. Shit.
But here's the here's the funniest thing about that. I was watching a lot of these videos on VH cassettes and stuff like that, because I follow a lot of nostalgic stuff on social media, and it's like back then. And we'll continue. We'll talk about this more in a future episode. But places like Blockbuster, when they popped up, all these mom and pop rentals, they had to put money out to get these hot new videos in their stores so they can rent them out. And a lot of these big movie distributors, they were worried about losing money or something over that. That's why back in the 80s and 90s, video cassettes to own were like $80 or $90. That is pretty big, own a video cassette for $80 or $90. But I'm going to step away real quick, Mike. I'll let you take it over and chat about what you.
Hey, go to commercial break. I gotta answer something real quick.
All right, we're going to go to break. We'll be right back, guys.
We'll be right back.
On the Power Rangers TV adventures, the bad guys act pretty scary sometimes, but they're only pretend, so nobody really gets hurt. In the real world, though, real things can happen that make us feel frightened, and we should talk about them. So join me and the other Power Rangers for the special Talking It Out right after an all-new X-Men next on Fox Kids.
Hi, it's Chris Leary. Tomorrow morning, the Fox Kids Network's taking over the radio airwaves with the Fox Kids Countdown. It's going to be a star-studded Sunday.
No, righty then.
With Jim Carrey, Boyz II Men, Spider-Man, and Tick, plus cool prizes. So call your favorite radio station right now and say, tomorrow morning, I got to hear the Fox Kids Countdown.
Man, awesome. Simply awesome.
Next Saturday morning, the X-Men must help a mysterious mutant.
I'm Mighty Polar.
With amazing powers.
It's vanished into thin air. You are searching for me.
Can the X-Men find him before it's too late?
Stop!
Enough small talk.
Don't miss this all-new, incredible X-Men adventure next Saturday morning here on Fox Kids.
Tricks! Get your tricks!
Tricks?
A fruit-alicious part of this complete breakfast!
Bursting with the sweet, fruity taste!
You can see! Grapey purple, lime green! I gotta tackle those tricks! My eyes are playing tricks. Tricks? It's a tricks bowl!
And it'll bowl you over. But silly rabbit tricks are for kids.
Color-changing, trick-shaped water squirters. Now there's one free in marked boxes of tricks.
Join the bunch.
Group hug.
Watch Tasmania weekdays on Fox Kids.
Welcome to Fox Action Theater.
We'll be right back.
Kool-Aid Flavor Mania's on tour. Styling in the islands with the hottest flavor combos ever. For our new island trip. On guitar, kiwi lime. Drums, orange pineapple. Bass, mango berry. Give it up for the island twist. The newest addition to Kool-Aid Flavor Mania.
When they come alive, evil can't survive. Gargoyles. Disguised as a gargoyle, the evil Xanatos swoops into attack. But mighty Goliath breaks free. Lexington fires. And heroic Brooklyn charges into battle on the Ripon Rider Cycle.
Get him!
Xanatos is stunned. And Goliath flies in to unmask him. When gargoyles come alive, evil can't survive. Gargoyles, Goliath, Brooklyn, Lexington, Xanatos. Other figures and vehicles each sold separately, lots not included.
Ritz Bits peanut butter sandwiches with the delicious taste of real peanut butter on the inside and buttery little Ritz crackers on the outside. Who can resist a Ritz Bits sandwich with peanut butter? Ritz Bits sandwiches with cheese, with the taste of real cheese on the inside and buttery little Ritz crackers on the outside. Who on earth can resist Ritz Bits sandwiches with cheese?
This is Bobby's mom. You gotta have a look. See at all the dipsy-tool adventures of my little Manzy. Watch my little cowboy. Glad you did. Catch Bobby's World weekdays right here on Fox Kids.
Now back to our show.
And now back to our program. We are back. Well, oh, there he is.
Hey, what's up, brother?
I was going to say, everybody back yet?
Yeah,
What the fuck? Oh, over on fucking Facebook. Warner Music Rights Management claimed your video because it may have content. Oh, Christ.
Oh, here we go.
Of course. An hour into it, and they got to claim my fucking shit. Let's see.
Probably some Japanese damn or Muhammad bullshit.
It always is. Let's see. Reason for dispute. Public domain. Yes, it is public domain. So suck my dick on Facebook. Fair use. Fair use policy. Implement it. I had to put like minimum of fucking 20 characters for that. Alright, so if you guys are watching me on Facebook, I don't know if it's still live, and then again, it's probably flagged. Your video is blocked and can't be viewed in 249 locations on Facebook.
Damn, that's about half the country.
Well, I still got two other places to stream it. Fuck Facebook. You know, like Facebook, along with Twitter, which I want to get into because it's ridiculous when it comes to social media. They're a bunch of big fucking liberal bitches, you know.
Well, it's because of big tech. That's what it comes down to. They don't want the truth to come out because just like the trucker convoy, they're trying to block everything about that as well.
Oh, well, let's bring that up real quick too. I'm going to talk about that, the big trucker convoy, with what's going on with that.
And I support our truckers, whether it's Canadian, USA, anything. I love truckers.
So, in case if anybody is still in hiding under a rock with this and all, so let me put it to you all this way. U.S. truckers were planning a protest convoy, perhaps starting in L.A. for Super Bowl. The DHS warns. The Department of whatever the fuck they're called, bunch of idiots. So, Department of Homeland Security, that's what it is warning U.S. law enforcement agencies that a group of truckers are planning a protest of COVID-19 vaccine mandates that could start as soon as this weekend in Los Angeles, site of the Super Bowl. Ahead of the Super Bowl, DHS is surging additional staff to this incident command post in Los Angeles. Already, more than 500 DHS personnel are providing air and maritime security resources, part of a standard operating procedures ahead of Sunday. The bulletin obtained by CBS News says that the convoy could then head east, perhaps reaching Washington, D.C. in time for President Biden's State of the Union on March 1st. Nice.
Hey, I don't blame that. That's how I'd do it.
Exactly.
Start making my way on up there.
I hope it does. The bulletin warns that the convoy... The bulletin warns that the convoy could severely disrupt transportation, federal government, and law enforcement operations through gridlock and potential counter-protest. The warning comes as the trucker protest in Canada begins to hinder production at some U.S. auto plants that are running short on parts. The bulletin says that the DHS has received reports of truck drivers planning to potentially block roads in major metropolitan cities in the U.S. in protest of, among other things, vaccine mandates for truck drivers. The convoy will potentially begin in California as early as mid-February and arrive in Washington, D.C. as late as mid-March. potentially
That should
impacting.
be actually in a couple of days then, if I recall, because Super Bowl is this Sunday.
It's tomorrow. Yep.
And that means by probably the 15th, guess what?
Mhm.
They're heading to DC.
While there are currently no indications of planned violence, if hundreds of trucks converge in a major metropolitan city, the potential exists to severely disrupt transportation, federal government operations, commercial facilities, and emergency services through gridlock and potential counter-protests. According to law enforcement sources, the group intends to start in California and travel to D.C. White House officials have said Thursday that the Biden administration is monitoring the situation at the border very closely. We are principally forced on resolving the blockage at the Ambassador Bridge as well as other ports of the entry. The Windsor-Detroit Ambassador Bridge remained closed on Thursday, but the detour Port Huron is fully operational. According to White House officials, the cabinet and senior White House staff has been engaged around the clock to bring the situation to a swift end. White House officials said that on Thursday morning, Homeland Security and Transportation Security each spoke with the Canadian counterparts, urging them to use federal powers to resolve the situation and offering the full support of the U.S. Homeland Security and Transportation departments. I'm going to say this. Biden, you piece of ever-loving dog fucking shit. You are not the president of the United States. You are a fucking Nazi dictator. You asked for this shit, you got what you deserve. Karma is hitting on your fucking front door. You stupid motherfucking piece of shit. That's what I got to say about it, because this motherfucker wants to sit there and force people to take a poison fucking jab. Yes, I know I've taken the fucking jab. I know I've done it because my job relies on it, of course. But there's a lot of people out there that still support their freedom. The freedom to express themselves. They're not going to want to take this fucking jab. They don't want to take this jab, and I don't fucking blame them for it. But when you're targeting the truckers, when you're targeting healthcare, law enforcement, EMS, all that stuff, when you target the most important fields that you need in this country, when you target them and they shut down, you're in deep fucking shit. That's why last year a lot of these nurses and doctors and police officers and firefighters and EMTs
just walked off.
That's why they walked off. Exactly. They all walked off and quit. They stood their ground. And you want to say, well, if you don't want to wear a mask, if you don't want to get a vaccine, well, you could find a job somewhere else. Okay, fuck you. These people gave up a good paying career because they don't want something injected into their body that they don't know anything about, that they're being forced to inject into their body, and I don't blame them. So now, and I've warned about this months ago. I
want to bring something about the forced vaccine thing. Okay. All right, here's how I see it, okay? If it wasn't forced and promoted so much that you're urging people to take it to make it think twice, what's in this shit that they're forcing it into. And I was talking to a buddy of mine last night about it. I said, if they didn't mandate it and force it, people would probably end up getting it for the good sakes of it, because it's not being forced, it's not being mandated. But when you start getting to that mandate and force shit, people are gonna ask questions and why we got to take it for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that makes you think up the top of your head, well, why are they forcing this thing if it's not even working for one? But before they didn't know it was not working, but why are they forcing something down our throats? What's in this thing?
Exactly.
Now, if it wasn't mandated and forced, people would be probably more calm, and that curve would, they were talking about, that curve going down. Their curve would probably be you wouldn't probably hear about COVID no more.
No.
If it wasn't forced and people scratching heads and asking questions and blaming left, right, whatever, vaccinated, not vaccinated, none of that shit would happen.
Nope.
If it wasn't forced and mandated. Now, like everybody's been saying, it's your body, your choice. You don't have to if you don't want to. But the thing about it is, like how Trump said it when before he left office, hey, we weren't forcing people and people were getting it because we didn't mandate it and force it. Now we're forcing it, and now people are asking questions, what's in the shit?
Exactly. That's like what everybody was getting mass vaccinated back in July and June and July, and they said, "Oh, we got a Delta variant breaking out." Like, oh, I wonder why? Because you're forcing people to get the shot. More people are getting sicker and sicker. Just like when they said, "Okay, there's another variant coming out. We're going to need a booster." People get the booster. What happens then? The supposedly Omicron variant hits. You know, every time they introduce a new vaccine, a new variant pops up. So these people are injecting shit into your body, telling you that you need it, or you're not going to work, you're not going to go out and live your life, you're not going to eat at the local restaurant, you're not going to go shop at Best Buy or Walmart, you're not going to go to the aquarium, you're not going to go to the state fair. Pretty soon, you're not going to go out to breathe.
But here's also the hypocrisy of the left. Mm-hmm. And now, if you're a Democrat, you know, that's your business. Or if you're a libtard, that's your business also. But here's the thing. These are the same people that are forcing, are the same ones that says when Trump came out with it, we're not going to take it. Yep. Now they're taking it.
Exactly.
So that tells you right there, you're under control.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much. But the thing about it, you know, oh, well, Trump came up with, we don't want nothing to do with it because Trump came up with Trump.
And that's what they keep going back to.
Biden has it. Now everybody's taking it.
Exactly.
What's the hypocrisy of that? You know what I mean?
Everybody keeps going back to Trump because look at it 2 years ago. You know, Trump came out and said, we're not requiring it. I just recommend you get it. If you feel like you need it, if you feel like it'll make you safe, get it. You know, Trump wasn't forcing anybody to get it, but everybody goes back to like, well, Trump said get it. Trump said, he didn't say get it. He said, if it's optional, it's recommended. Recommend means optional. You don't need to get it. You know, look at what when Trump contracted COVID-19. You know, he was fine within a few days because he took something a little called chloroquine, which you don't hear much about. Hydrochloroquine. You don't hear much about it today because Trump talked about it. But yeah,
now they got a new thing out also that's better than all that. That pretty much cures within 36 hours, supposedly.
Yeah.
But and that, you know, the red states ain't getting as much, is because they're blocking it and they don't want people to realize, oh, well, this is the shit that's actually curing you.
Mm-hmm.
But also to go with, I know I'm flip-flopping here and there, but it all combines with the shit. Since now we did that mandate shit, there is one thing that has not been talked about, Mike, and this guy is the most genius of them all, I would have to say, of hiding from the law. The major hunt for this guy that did the DNC, the RNC headquarters in DC that placed them 2 pipe bombs has yet to be caught. The largest manhunt has been pretty much, you know, hush, 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 hush. Nobody ain't talking about it. All they know is that somebody that was on a cell phone was Nikes. There is no handprints. There is no droplets. There's nothing, but there's a phone call.
Where'd you hear about this?
They can't find this guy, huh? It's on the news. It's on Louder with Crowder, Dan Bongino, and it started to come up since the January 6th. And guess what? Who is that guy that they actually showed a picture of? I think Ben Shapiro also covered it too. If you look on Dan Bongino show, and you can pull it up, Mike.
All right, hold on. So I'm gonna look this up. You said it's a man wanted for what?
Man wanted for the DNC and RNC pipe bombs.
RNC pipe bombs. Let's see.
Look up Dan Bongino. It was, I think, an episode yesterday or the day before yesterday.
Okay, so March 10th, 2021. All right, this was last year. Okay.
No. Yeah, that was last with the January 6th.
All right. Here's this. Okay, this is January 6th this year. This was over a month ago. Yeah. Suspect accused of placing pipe bombs outside the DNC and RNC headquarters before January 6 riots. Still has yet to be arrested. The suspect accused of placing pipe bombs before January 6 has not been arrested. The suspect placed 2 pipe bombs outside DNC and RNC headquarters on January 5th. The FBI has released footage of the suspect, but they still haven't been able to identify. Of course they can't identify him. You know why? He's wearing a mask.
The thing is, how can you have no prints, no droplets, no DNA on any of the shit?
So let me ask you all, and I know NSA is listening on this shit. I
bring this up because that's right now a big topic people are starting to talk about, and it's now just coming up, 2 years later?
Yeah. So let me mention this. Okay, I know, big government's listening on all this shit. I'm like, okay, I know you stupid motherfuckers are listening to this. You fucking pushed Edward Snowden over in the fucking Russia somewhere because of y'all's dumb shit.
They're not yeah, he's over there in Russia.
He's still over there. He ain't coming back. He's not going to come back because he knows if he comes back, they're going to fucking throw him under the jail. They're going to Epstein his ass. He knows that.
I think 2024 is because Trump has something big coming.
Yeah.
He says he's going to release some big pardons, and I think Snowden and Julian Assange is going to be one of them.
Well, that is if Trump does get the nomination and elected president again. But we'll have to see. I mean, it's not guaranteed right now. He could run, but it's not guaranteed right now. But it is always a possibility. But I will say this to those of you listening. Oh shit! I got hit by Corona. But listen to this. So this guy, and I briefly heard about this, a year ago and all, but now looking into it, I'm looking at the picture, and I'm going to put this picture in the Discord if the Discord will let me upload it, because Discord's been a big bitch on internet lately here. Okay, here it is. All right, and I'm going to put this in Jeff's Discord too. If anybody over there in the
Even
Jeff
Tucker
Hagg
Carlson covered this shit.
Okay, if you're listening in, if you're in the Jeff Haggy Discord, check this photo out. Okay, this is the photo that the FBI is going off of. They said the FBI has released the footage of him, but have yet to identify him. And here's why: because of Papa Biden, the Biden administration, and all you stupid fucking retards out there who mandate these goddamn medical masks. It's a wonder why you can't identify him, because he's wearing a fucking mask.
Hold on a second. It's not about the mask. FBI has the technology of visual identification through glasses and stuff. Why they can't get that?
They don't want to.
Or voice recognitioning.
It's either A, they can't. Their biggest excuse.
Something's a big cover up with that dude. I think there's a big cover up.
It is. It always is. So I'm going to get into that. And I'm going to get into that. Like right now, the FBI will come out and say, oh, we can't identify him because he's wearing a mask. Well, that's your president. Well, president.
They can recognize all those people that stormed the Capitol building, but they can't identify this dude.
Exactly. And I'm like, okay, so your dictator mandates everybody to wear masks, and you want to make that the biggest fucking excuse, but yet you have all of this CSI technology, where you can identify somebody from a fucking pubic hair, or a fucking toenail clipping, but you can't figure out who the fuck this is. No, what it is, it's a fucking cover-up of the goddamn Democrats, the far left, set up January 6th. They set it up, and it's been proven. All the suspects that were involved are involved with the Biden administration and the far left. You see them in different videos and pictures and stuff after the fact. They set this up just so they can make Trump look bad, just so they can impeach Trump, so Trump won't run again in 2024. Yet there was no evidence provided for his impeachment. This was all set up by the fucking Democrats. It's a goddamn fact. Get over it.
Well, not only that. Shoot, I was just about to say something. I lost my train of thought for a second. But they don't even know where Kamala Harris was at this whole entire time, and all these other people. But here's the thing I don't understand. Okay, you can identify any kind of criminal out there in this world. Okay. And you can't. One person has gotten away. The biggest manhunt in the United States right now, in the history of the United States, has gotten away.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? They're going to protect him. They're going to protect him as long as they can. They're going to use him for the next grand event. Don't know what it's going to be. Don't know when it's going to be. There's going to be another grand event that's going to happen that's going to include this guy. Because this guy, I guarantee you what happened. They probably looked on the black market somewhere for somebody who's just as good as, let's say Lee Harvey Oswald. Somebody who's just as good as Lee Harvey Oswald.
Mm-hmm. Funny thing you just said. Okay, just popped in my head. Well, January 6th was active with CIA agents and all that.
Yeah.
In that crowd, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Well, why are they covering up this dude unless he's part of the agency?
Mm-hmm. Just like
perfectly set time bombs and all that. No traces. Only agencies can do that and pull it off.
Exactly. And ain't it so particular that I bring up Lee Harvey Oswald? Like, look at him. He was a pawn in that Kennedy shooting, even though he wasn't responsible for Kennedy. He was a pawn. He was in the building. He probably fired a couple shots, and while he fired that couple shots, it was disguised by the shooting from the grassy knoll, you know? That's what it was.
That or could have been the Illuminati.
Well, that's always possible too, yeah. But, you know, this guy, there's a reason why he got away. There's a reason why he has not been identified yet. Over a year, guys. Over a year he's done this. And he hasn't been identified yet. What does this say? Okay, Capitol Hill resident Carlin Younger discovered the bomb left outside the RNC on the afternoon of January 6th. She previously told Insider that at first glance she believed the bomb was a piece of recycling until she saw the caps on each end and the timers. You don't think you're under attack. I'm not in Iraq. This is Capitol Hill, and I just see this, and it was the fact it was capped on both ends that made me start to worry that this wasn't a part of a car or a bike or something, and there was a timer that really got me to be like, wait a minute. So, and it goes on too. Younger told the Insider she ran first to Capitol Hill Club and then to the RNC, where she was able to flag down a security guard. He walks over, leans over, and goes, "Holy shit, that's a bomb!" And I was like, I knew it. I knew this didn't look right. That whole conversation right there is like, what the fuck? Okay, so you go on to saying something like this, and you're like, oh, I ran to this place, and I ran to that place to get a security guard. You know, when you have suspicion of something, okay, when you have suspicion of a bomb anywhere, and I have experience with this, you don't run for a security guard. All right, you don't run from that place, because by the time you come back, motherfucker could have blown up or something, you know?
Yeah.
Your first instinct should be, if you got a phone on you or if you're near a phone, call 911 and say, look, here's...
you gotta be careful of phones, because some pipe bombs can be
that is true. That is true. Or you could step away and go to the other side of the street or something where you're safe. You could evacuate the area. If there's anybody walking in the area, you could say, okay, everybody get on the other side of the street, go up the street now. There's something suspicious. I need to call the police or something, you know? But you run and you get somebody who's not really above the law. They're just a security guard, you know? Like, what are they going to do? And then, of course, you're like, holy shit, that's a bomb. Oh my God. Like, and then you proclaim, oh my God, I knew it didn't look right. Like, oh my God, you know, like the whole conversation right there. All right, Younger said that law enforcement quickly did descend on the scene and evacuate her apartment building. Her discovery led law enforcement to discover that another pipe bomb was left outside the DNC while Kamala Harris, I don't know, fuck her name, Harris was in the building. A previously unknown detail that Politico reported on Thursday. So that building Harris was in. So somebody was either plotting to assassinate the bitch or just plotting to set it up to where it looks like somebody was trying to assassinate the bitch. And then
trying to blame the people that are at the Capitol building for it.
Yeah, and try to blame all the Trump supporters. That's all they want to do. They want to blame the Trump supporters for all this, and they still do.
But here's the big question: why would they do it also outside the RNC building?
Mm-hmm. Once again, the whole thing.
That's the thing too. It's like, okay, you got to really think hard on this one, but not really, because it's pretty much. I mean, yeah, it could have been very deadly. I'm not going to say it could not have.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, that would have been the biggest red flag of a terrorist attack.
Yep.
Right there in the middle of our capital.
Yep. Oh,
And
Mel
that's
just tuned in.
And the thing about this is, okay, there's supposed to be two different prophecies, two different texts. 9/11 was one of them. There's supposed to be a second one. What if this has something to do with the next planning of the attack, of the next terrorist attack? That's not going to be as big as 9/11, but as is like 9/11.
It's going to happen. I guarantee you. Mel's like, I just turned tuning in. What are we talking about? Talking about the pipe bomb situation from last year, January 6th, and then I'm going to go on to
January
rant
6th,
about.
2021.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about Twitter here in a little bit. But yeah, I guarantee you, this year, I guarantee it. Because
I don't think it's going to happen this year. I think it's going to happen between middle of this year and part of maybe.
Well, let's see. Okay, so far there was a lot of things that we've predicted on the show, and they have happened. They have come true. So watch. I guarantee you, just like you said, if it doesn't happen this year, it could be next year. I'm saying it's going to happen this year because we got the preliminaries, or whatever the fuck they call the midterm elections.
The midterms this year.
We got the midterm elections happening. Now, now, Democrats are scrambling to get their spots anywhere they can. Like, okay, you look at, there's like 5 or 6 states right now that are looking to lift the mask mandates from public schools. Maryland is one of them. I just read this a day or so ago. Governor Hogan, and they're trying to impeach him for that and all. But so far, Hogan was hit or miss with a lot of calls that he made over the last few years. But they're trying to lift the mask mandate out of schools, and I'm like, they should. There's no reason why my children should continue going to school wearing a mask that is picking up more fucking germs than they fucking intake if they sit outside eating dirt, So that's I'm all for that. I'm like, let the kids breathe. And I've come across a few libtards on Twitter, last few days, which I'll get into, and I'm telling them, I'm just like, look, your science doesn't work. Science doesn't help every single body. That's why the whole mask mandate needs to come to a fucking end. But now, since we're talking about the Democrats and all, with the midterms coming up, the Democrats are going to try to fire something up to where it makes them look good and it makes the Republicans look bad. Like right now, Biden's ratings are at their all-time lowest. Same thing with Harris. And I'm like, okay, how come y'all haven't impeached this motherfucker yet? Are you just pushing more shit onto him, more stupid shit for him to implement, to where you're like, okay, it doesn't make sense. Okay, we can get rid of him, and we can appoint this person, we can appoint that person, which of course, when Biden gets the 25th Amendment put on his ass, which I see that happening within the next year, he's very incompetent. He's very incapable of running, any more any more of the presidency. So they'll pull the 25th Amendment. They'll impeach him out of that with that. Kamala Harris, who's the VP, she'll get in there, but hold up. Her rating levels are low too. They already know how dirty she is too, so they can get rid of her. If all else fails, I think it's the head of the House or the head of the Senate, whoever gets it. But I know Pelosi, she could possibly get sworn in right there. So they could well be setting up for something for Pelosi. They could be setting something up for because everything's already in place. The inflation, the high gas prices, all this extra stupid shit that's going on that Biden has implemented. It's already in effect. All you got to do is get Pelosi or somebody into office, make a few minor tweaks here or there, and then it's all done. It's all done. That's capital America for you right there. So we're going to continue to pay $4 a gallon for gas. Food prices are continuing to go up and up and up. And while the middle class, there's even an attack on middle class now. I read about this last night. You know, the Democrats, the Biden administration, they're all attacking the middle class and the lower class. But I'm like, why? We are the people that you fucking need. When you go to the grocery store, who is bagging your groceries? Who is checking your groceries out for you? Who is stocking your groceries for you? The low to middle class people who have 2 or 3 jobs that are barely making it, that own a 2 to 3 bedroom apartment or house with 5 fucking kids and a husband or a boyfriend. The lower class is what's supplying your fucking ass. So why are you attacking us? You know, we're pretty sure to find out about that more in the future here, but that's what's happening. You know, we're being attacked. Oh, Mike, you're muted. Not unless you walked away. But along with that, like we were mentioning earlier with the trucker protest right now, and I'm going to get a little bit more into that before I get into my Twitter rant. The Republicans just had a fundraiser for what I don't know, but they raised a lot of money for something. I think I read briefly something on that. I forgot what it was. I'll have to look it up later. I did read something about that. But the whole trucker protest that's going on right now, I'm with them. I support them, and I agree with everything they do. Now, the truckers, they're holding our supplies hostage in a sense, but they're doing it peacefully for a protest over the vaccine mandate. And I agree with them. You know, it's a peaceful protest. Nobody's being shot. Nobody's being stabbed. There's no pipe bombs being placed anywhere on major roadways. There's none of that. It's a peaceful protest. But yet, the Department of Homeland Security and the Biden administration are proclaiming them as terrorists for doing this. And they're saying that there could be violence that could come out of this shit come Super Bowl Sunday. Oh my God, the NFL's going to be affected. The Super Bowl's going to be affected. Anybody watching, all they're going to see is fucking Pepsi Cola trucks and the fucking Amazon trucks marching up and down the freeways. Who gives a shit? Fuck the NFL. And I say that with high emphasis. Fuck the NFL. Fuck Super Bowl. I don't even watch fucking football. I don't give a shit. I just want the halftime show, exactly, or the commercials.
All right.
I don't know how much of that you've missed. You were muted.
Oh no, I've missed. I've been listening. I just muted myself. That's all.
But that's what I'm saying. Fuck the NFL. To me, you know, all that fucking propaganda, like especially right now where, you know, the NAACP is filing a lawsuit against the NFL because there's not enough black coaches. There's not enough black players. There's not enough black this. Like, shut the fuck up. The NFL's nothing but propaganda. Fuck the NFL. Fuck football. If you are so pissed off that your little itty bitty NFL, your football's getting affected, oh my God, they're gonna march through the NFL stadium. The focus is gonna be put on a peaceful protest. Fuck them. I don't give a shit. They must not have seen the Ravens then. Exactly. You know, the Ravens is a prime example of that. They're mostly black. I'm not saying that to sound racist, but it's all coming down to this Black Lives Matter bullshit. We gotta tend to them. We gotta tend to Black Lives Matter. Like, it's mostly made up of fucking white people, you know? Like, football has been a sport over the past 70 fucking years?
122 if I remember correctly.
Something like that, you know? And it's all boiled down to politics and race. It's fucking disgusting. It's disgusting that the NFL has boiled down to politics and race. And you're worried about a trucker protest. Oh, driving through. Oh, we're gonna block up streets. It's gonna be very busy on Super Bowl Sunday. Who gives a fuck? Who really gives a fuck? Fuck the Super Bowl. I worry about the safety and concern of those truck drivers that are peacefully protesting across America right now for their rights. You know, you should not mandate a vaccine on somebody. You should not mandate a law. Mandates are illegal. Mandates are part of a fucking dictatorship. Yeah, it's disappointing that it's turning into a Black Lives Matter. That's all it is. That's all it's about. That's what the Democrats want. They want their agenda to be nothing but Black Lives Matter. That's what it's always been about. Oh, that police officer that shot that so-called innocent black boy up the street who was holding that fucking Glock in their hand, shooting somebody or shooting at a police officer. Yeah, it's so innocent, ain't it? But then again, how many white punks out there are reported on? How many white punks are being shot at there? How many of those are being reported? None. Because the agenda is white cop, black teenager, white cop, black civilian. But yet a majority of them, 8 out of 10, they're all criminals, and they've all done something to the society to where, yes, they deserve to be in jail. If they end up shot dead, that's their own damn fault. They did it for a reason. I enjoy football until recently when they started to take the knee. Yeah, that whole oh my God, don't even get me started on that. To take the knee. Oh my God. And that's all what brings me around to the censorship on Twitter when it comes to speaking my mind on certain things like this. Now, I'm going to read you all a tweet that I posted out that got flagged on Twitter recently. Okay, this Twitter account, this was my 4th Twitter account in the last 3 years.
I thought it was 5th.
Nah, it's my 4th. Within the last 3-4 years, I got you banned. Because when it comes, I wouldn't
be surprised after this stream is over, we'll get flagged for this stream too. So.
Well, it'll get downloaded and it'll be re-uploaded. But here's what happened. Okay, so somebody posted something on Twitter, and I was going on like a mild tangent on there, commenting, but I wasn't being vulgar. I wasn't using words like "you're a retard," "you're a bitch," "you're a piece of shit," or something like that. You know, just being subtle with my words. And there was just, you know, this Twitter page that it's all against Biden, and they will say anything they can about Biden, shit talking Biden, putting Biden down, whatever. I forgot what they said on their end, but I replied, spoken like a true libtard. Hey, how's Biden doing with using your tax dollars to fund crack pipes to drug addicts? Want to tell me about that? LOL. And shit you not, within an hour or so, my account was permanently suspended. So I'm sitting here asking you a question about Biden and his whole administration with funding crack pipes. So they're funding drug addicts.
They were talking about that crap too.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was just a joke thing, but actually it's kind of real.
It is. It is. It's all over the fucking news, and they're trying to cover it up. Of course, they're trying to say that, oh, the Biden administration, they never said that, they never did that. Where you get the information from?
So let me ask you this then, okay? Since you got banned for that mess, if they're going to pass that crack, does that mean crack's going to be legal now?
That's what it seems like. The Democrats are trying to pass drugs.
Oh my God!
You know what I see this as? I see it as Detroit, Michigan, OCP or whatever fuck it is. From, if you ever seen RoboCop, you know RoboCop, you know, where they try to build.
Dread, matter of fact.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those things, you know, like with OCP and RoboCop, where they're trying to build the new Detroit City or something like that, because old Detroit City is nothing but fucking drugs and prostitution and shit. And the guy who's planning the whole project, he's all for the criminals. He's all for the killing of police officers. He's all for the drugs. That's what we're witnessing right now. You know, with the Democrats, the far left, they want to blame the far right for shit. Yes, the far right. Yes, I've seen the fucking stupid shit that they've done. I've seen the stupid shit that they've said. There are Republicans out there who do dip their hand in the cookie jar and are guilty for it. There are Republicans out there that do that shit. You know, not all Republicans are innocent, and not all Democrats are guilty. But you got those far leftists that support a dictator that's in the president's spot, who's making all these demands, who's making all these, you know, putting all this shit out there. You know, these are the motherfuckers you got to worry about. Because now you got Biden who's supporting drug habits, crack addicts. You need a crack pipe? Here. Who's paying for it? Jill and Jack and Fred and Bob and Bill and Barney up the road. Those who pay their tax dollars every single year to the federal government. And then even Big Mike right here, me, who owes $350 fucking dollars to the federal now. My fucking tax money is paying for those crack pipes out there, supporting their drug habits. But they don't want to talk about people who die from using drugs. Overdoses. You don't hear about overdoses anymore.
Yeah, they don't want to talk about this inflation that's going to jump up to 10% by quarter number 2.
Exactly. They don't want to talk about that. You know why?
Because
Trump.
it makes them look bad.
Exactly. They want to talk about COVID because COVID is bringing that money, the moolah, is bringing it to the pharmaceuticals.
They're already saying prepare for the next one, but there's a thing. It's starting to die.
It is. It's starting to die out.
Starting to die.
And that's where the Democrats are trying to lead their win at.
That's why they're in a panic.
Yep, they're in a panic. That's why Democrats are trying everything they can right now to make themselves look good. That's why they're saying, okay, let's lift the mask mandates from the schools. Let's do this. Let's do that. That way, come November, when the midterms end up happening and the Democrats get those spots, guess what? Oh, there's a new variant breakout. Everybody get your masks out. Hope you didn't throw them away. Go out and get vaccine number 25 because it's come back full fucking force. And you can blame the Republicans for that. No, you can blame the far left Democrats for that shit. But that's the kind of stuff that when you put it on a platform like Twitter or even Facebook or even like my buddy Jeff. Jeff, I hope you're watching, man. I'll put this out there for you. I think he got banned on Instagram for speaking his mind. So any platform you speak your mind on, they're all far left liberal. They're all liberal. They're paid by the liberals, just like the fucking news media. Yep. If CNN came out tomorrow and stated that Biden was a piece of shit, and they had evidence that Biden was a piece of shit, you know what would happen to CNN? They would fucking go under. Their funding would be cut
right now because they have nothing else to cover except for that Ukrainian and Russian shit. That's the only way they're going to get ratings.
Exactly. With all this insider shit going on, with like hidden relationships and people sexually assaulting each other or abusing it, whatever the fuck's going on.
That's why they tell you when this whole woke thing started coming out and they're censorship people, they'll when we started fighting back and then we just sit back and relax, they have nothing to cover, so they're gonna fight themselves.
Yep.
Just like Dan Bonagino has predicted this shit along with the rest of us that see it clear as daylight.
Oh yeah.
They're going to fall regardlessly because of even some Republicans are going to be in some deep shit along with some Democrats. Now, I'm not saying both sides, they have their bad seeds on both sides. Not all good, not all bad.
Nope.
But they're fighting each other. The woke mob is fighting each other. And that's that's what's going on as we speak.
And I'm loving every bit of it too. Like I say before, like I do support some Democrats, like Bill Maher, for instance. Bill Maher, he's called out some of his own people for the stupid shit that they've done, and he's taken a lot of flack for it, but he stands strong. He said, I don't give a shit what you think of me. Just like there are some Republicans out there. Like, that's why I stay in the middle. That's why I'm conservative. I stay in the middle, even though at times I lean more toward Republican, because I think Republicans have a better side at times than Democrats do. I mean, not to say, Democrats do have some good ideas at times, and there's times where the Republicans and the Democrats
also have some dumb times, like back in Trump days.
Yeah.
The Republicans are being stubborn as shit.
Exactly. But there's also times where yeah. But there's also times where they do get with each other and they do see each other's sides and they are able to work with each other. Just like how Mel put it, or how Jeff put it, and several other people put it. Why must there be a two-party system? Why can't there be a one-party system where, people are with each other and they just agree on this? Be like, do the nays have it?
Because think about it, bigger government leads to tyranny.
Yep, and that's what's going on right now, is the government is growing under our feet, and we're not paying attention.
Socialist country right now is what it's
Yeah,
starting to come.
And we're not paying attention to it because our focus is on what's going on in the news. That's why the government is paying these news companies off. You know, CNN, report on variant monkeytron flu coming. MSNBC, report on Flintstone-tron coming. You know, the next variant of the fucking coronavirus. Tell them that we're going to need another we're going to be another booster, another shot for this shit. That's all it is. You pay off the news media to scare people into a tangent, you know, and that way our focus is pulled away from what's going on in DC. You know, they're plotting a lot of shit down there right now that people are starting to open up to. And that's why, like you said, the woke people are starting to fight each other because people are starting to wake up and see what bullshit is going on. You know, a lot of us have been sleeping under a rock for the last 2 or 3 years, and now we're finally waking up, and it's good to see that. And a lot more people are putting their opinions out there on social media. A lot of people are voicing their opinions, but now social media, which is also being funded by the far left liberal. If anybody says anything about Biden or Pelosi or Harris or COVID, or give out any false information about COVID, flag it. So you mean to tell me that if I state my opinion, or even if it's strong fact, even if it's backed by a lot of good information, if it's backed by facts, if I post it right now on Facebook, and I include the word coronavirus in it, or if I include COVID in it, Facebook will flag it or tell me, this has information about COVID. We just want to let you know it's got information about COVID in it, but you can still post it, but just for future information, it's talking about COVID. Yeah, you can't be doing that on here. We can't be having any misinformation on COVID. That's exactly what's going on with the social media platforms. You know, you're being censored left and right. And the only other time that I did receive some kind of suspension was about a month ago on Twitter. It was a 7-day suspension. I forgot what I called. I called somebody a fucking bitch or something like that. So when I did that, I was like, okay, 7 days, whatever. It is what it is. But now I post something on there, and it's not violating their terms of service at all. And I get banned for it because I'm asking somebody a question because they are so up Biden's ass, with their thumbs and saying, America with Biden on my thumb up his ass. But I'm like, okay, well, how about, hey, how's it going with him taking your tax money and funding crack pipes to drug addicts? Tell me about that. Oh, no, you mentioned the president's name in your tweet. No, we got to get rid of you. Bye-bye. We can't have you mention anything about Biden. It can't be negative about Biden. Biden's good. How is he good? He's better than Trump. How's he better than Trump? He just is. Biden's better than Trump. Yeah, well, Biden lied and 13 died. Yeah, but Biden's better than Trump. All right. How about he pulled our troops out of Afghanistan early enough, too fucking early, and fucking Taliban has taken over an entire country. Now they got our money and our weapons and our equipment over there. Don't worry about that. He's just better than Trump. That's all it comes down to. Everybody looks at it. Trump was bad. Biden is good. We got Trump out. Now we can relax. Yeah, well, COVID is still a thing. Has Biden done anything about COVID? Well, he's making promises, and it may not take a whole term. He may have to run a second term to get rid of the virus. How can he get rid of the virus? A virus that has been around for years. It's just a mutated version of SARS. Well, he'll make sure we don't get it. He'll make sure we don't get sick. How's he going to do that? He's promising about 20 or 30 some vaccines that we're going to need to take, and we're going to need a booklet of COVID vaccine cards to go along with it. So whenever we walk into McDonald's to pick up our hamburgers and our french fries, and they ask, where's your vaccine passport? Where's your proof of information? And you got to reach in your pocket, and you got to pull out 30 pages that show you got this.
Let me tell you something about that.
That's what's going to happen.
Hold on, wait. Remember we was talking about the Bible on Tom's show?
I think so, yeah.
Were we talking about the microchip and all that, and about Bible prophecies and all that?
Mm-hmm.
What's going on today?
Exactly. Everything you see that's going on in there.
No. What's going on today?
Yep.
Without the mask, you cannot buy or sell or trade.
Nope.
And guess what? What's that RFID do in the Bible? It says you cannot buy, sell, or trade.
Yep.
There you go. Next will be, after all this shit's done, one world government, and next you see the microchips.
Yep. It's going to happen. Everything's going to happen before 2030.
It ain't going to happen this year or anytime soon because of certain things I got to go through, but it's coming.
It's going to happen.
You're all aware.
Yeah, just like we've been saying all along, it's going to happen before 2030. Because pretty soon
it might happen after 2030. It depends upon how everything's turning out with the midterms. And
well, let's say okay.
Election.
Well, like I said, I got some inside information. I'm going to say from who, but the grand reset for everything is going to happen within the next couple years. That way, you know, housing is going to go down. It's going to be, people are going to be able to afford houses. It's just a grand reset.
And that's why people are saying go buy gold, silver, and like energy stocks, because that's the saver of this all that's going to happen.
Exactly.
They say go buy gold, silver, and I think it's bronze.
Yeah, whatever has
copper.
Whatever has copper's higher than bronze. Yeah, copper's like gold in the ghetto.
Gold, silver, and copper. That's what there's gold, silver, copper, and energy, like solar panels and shit like that.
Exactly.
Anything that has to do with energy. Because of this administration, your stocks are going to go up.
Mm-hmm.
Gold's going to go up, but because of inflation, and so is silver and copper. Them kind of stocks, that's going to make your money. Not Bitcoin, not whatever Dogecoin or whatever bullshit.
You got to get the physical stuff.
Because the government's starting to take that over too.
Yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm. It's all going to happen within the next 2-3 years. Just like, okay, let's say Trump does run in 2024. Let's say he does.
He's already running in 2024. That's
he is running. There's also a rumor stating that Hillary's going to try to. I'm going to call her Hillary.
Yeah, that's true too.
Hillary's going to try to run
that's
too.
The only best candidate they got.
But let's say Trump does get it. Okay, now just like with Obama, what somebody told me with Obama years ago. And they said, well, I think Obama should run another term because it's going to take 2 terms to fix and undo what Bush did. And I'm like, look, if Obama hasn't done it in the first 4 years, he's not going to do it in the next 4 years. And he never did. He just kept on relaxing through that field of, oh, I'm president. I'm the new hip president. I'm Muslim, but I'm black in the black community. I'm the first black president to be in the president's spot. Hey, how you doing, Junior? I'm President Obama. Let me play some basketball with you. Let me sit down and read Junior a story. He was all about popularity. Obama was never about fixing the country or dealing with the country's problems. He caused a lot of the problems, but he was all about getting hip and down with the kids. You know, I'm the cool president that interacts with you. Let me come out to your school and play some basketball or baseball with you, or throw the football around with you, throw the old pigskin. He was all about, it was a popularity contest. But then when Trump gets in, and Trump is doing what he can as president, yeah, he's a money man. But you know, like you said, and it's true, Trump took a pay cut. He didn't want that pay. He was already rich. He took that spot. You know, he is just as American as...
He donated his money.
He is just as American as Ted Nugent is. You know, he was for America. Make America great again. He provided jobs. He did a lot of things that he could under the presidency. Now, was there some shit with him that he did that he shouldn't have? Yes. Just like when he was running against Hillary, you know, it was a bicker back and forth. Yes. You know, there was times where even somebody I worked with who was a Trump supporter, you know, he said, you know, I like Trump and I hope he gets it, but he just runs he runs off at the mouth too much. And that's what he did.
Well, that's actually a good thing, honestly. You know why? Because that shows strength.
Well, it does, but he didn't want to end up saying the wrong things that could have cost him. But in the end, he did get the presidency.
You gotta be careful what you do say, but mouthing off like that can show strength.
Yeah.
It's good against enemies that you know damn well will back you in a corner.
And even though he didn't do a lot of that when he was going against Biden, Trump took the high road, and he didn't do a whole lot of insulting on Biden. But Biden, you know, he did all that. But then again, the Democrats, you know, they cheated him into the office. You know, they cheated him into that spot. Look where he's at now. And everybody was so against Trump because Trump was actually helping the country. He wasn't as hip and cool as Obama. He wasn't going out there and saying, "Hey, Junior, let's throw the ball in the court or something." You know, Trump was the president. He is what you consider a president. Biden, he's a fucking he's a medical mystery. That's what I call Biden. He's a fucking medical mystery. How does somebody with dementia and whatever other health problems he has, how is this?
Personally, I think the whole January 6th bomber, Biden has something to do with it.
Oh, no doubt. They no doubt have you know, exactly. You know, there's no doubt in
The only
that.
thing that makes sense out of this whole thing.
But when it comes to like getting back on track with the topic, like getting back with the censorship on social media, including Twitter. You know, Twitter, let me give you all a little insight about Twitter. And this is my personal experience too with using it. Twitter is a lot more open than Facebook is. Facebook is more family friendly. You know, you don't see a lot of explicitness on Facebook. You may encounter some drama, you know, from friends, family, or whatever, but it's not explicit. Twitter, on the other hand, you could find pages upon pages of tits, ass, and pussy on there. That's how open Twitter is. Twitter is explicit. So you would figure, okay, if somebody's posting pictures and videos of women getting plowed with a big fucking black dick on there, then you could post your opinion about Joe Biden or Nancy Pelosi.
Lord.
That's how open Twitter is, of course. And of course, in my whole tenure on Twitter, which would have been at least 6 years, 5 or 6 years between 4 different accounts, and I've seen all that, and I've seen people on there making troll accounts. You know, people who go about and harass people. They still do. Harassment is a big thing on Twitter with a lot of these accounts.
No, it's also on what's that freaking ass thing? TikTok.
Yeah, it's spread on there too. You know, harassment is a big thing when it comes to platforms where you express yourself on, whether it be a platform like Twitch or YouTube or Daily Motion to TikTok, you know, to Facebook, Instagram, wherever you go, you're going to see some kind of harassment happen. And it's going to happen to you. It's going to happen to somebody you know. You know, just recently, there was a Twitch streamer. I was watching Rich from Review Tech USA last night, and he stated that there was a Twitch streamer about 2-3 days ago who got swatted. So swatting is still a thing that is going on.
Podcast got swatted.
Exactly. You know, there's people out there that are fucking jealous enough and mad enough that they're not getting that kind of popularity, that they're not that popular and making money. So they want to make somebody else's life a living hell. So they'll be like, okay, I got the address of Jimbo Jones, 123 Fake Street. Hey, officers, Jimbo Jones at 123 Fake Street. He went live and he said he's going to kill his entire family, you know, and he's waiting for you all. He said, come on, pigs, I'll gut you like a fucking fish. And then of course the police, that's all the information that they have going out to this residence. They know that there's a call in saying that somebody's going to kill somebody in the house, and then when they get there, and then they go in guns blazing, you know, they got fucking AR-15s and shotguns ready, and as soon as they break in, if there's any kind of sudden motion, you know, those persons are assassinated by the police. And there was an issue about, what was it, back in 2017, there was a guy that was, he got into an argument with somebody else over Call of Duty because they had bet, I think it was like $2. They bet $1 or $2 on a game. And there was an issue with that. So the one guy that made the bet or something, he ended up getting the wrong information. He went to a doxer / hacker online, and he said, I want this guy's information. So this doxer, he hacked this guy's information and gave it to him, but he gave him the wrong information. So the guy called the police department of this random person, and the police went out there. The guy, whoever lived at that address, he didn't know what the hell was going on. He opened the door and shit. One sudden move, and they gunned him down. They gunned this poor guy down in front of his family. That's the dangers of that's the dangers of swatting people. You know, these retards out there that troll people online, they have no idea what the fuck they are doing when they do something as big as swatting. You're pretty much conducting what is it? It's some kind of murder. I forgot what Rich said. You know, you're including yourself with this. You know, you're committing some kind of murder.
Association murder.
Yeah, something like that. Accomplice murder. That's what it is. Yeah, you're accomplice to this murder, because you know even it's the police officer that's shooting an innocent unarmed man or woman, you're accomplice to their murder. You're committing murder because you don't like somebody that you watch on the internet. It's sickening. And a lot of police departments, they still don't understand this. A lot of police departments, they're just now starting to realize that there are people out there that live stream on their own PCs from their own personal homes that do this. And a lot of people do it as a living, as a career. Somebody like me does it as a hobby. But somebody like me who's here, and I got kids in the next room that are playing happily, how the fuck would I feel if my police department came out here with guns blazing? You know, my kids are downstairs scared shitless because of some dickweed on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or whatever decides they want to fuck with my life. Well, guess what? You're fucking with my family's life. You're fucking with the lives of other people who live in my household because you hate me. You know? Right. Anunnaki Bro on YouTube. What's going on, man? What's up over there? Good to see you over here, brother.
Well, hey, Mike, I'm going to hop off here, brother. I know you got this on YouTube on this Twitter thing you see. I know you got this, bro. I'm not on Twitter, so I really got no input on it.
Yeah, I'm going to get into it. Well, thanks for coming in, man. I'll catch you later.
Everybody out there, man, you know, it's been nice talking to you. I'm going to hop off. I got some things to do. Right here, don't forget to join that, hit that like, subscribe, and give a thumbs up to this channel for my man, Mike.
All right, man. So, thanks a lot, man. I'll catch you later.
No problem. Hey, I'll catch you on the neck. I'll catch y'all on the flip.
All right, man.
All right, brother. All right.
See ya. All right. So anyway, like I was saying, guys, you know, this whole issue with swatting online, it's fucking ridiculous. Like I was saying, you know, for some retard, and I'm just gonna blatantly say it, some fucking retard online who hates my guts for whatever reason. If you feel that it's in your nature to put my family's life in danger because you hate me, I would say it here and now. You're somebody who deserves to be put down and buried 6 feet under. You're fucking scum. You're a piece of dog shit. That's what you fucking deserve. If you think coming into my life because you can't do what I do, because you can't have what I have, you're fucking lower than scum. At this point, I don't even know what kind of matter I would call you, because you be given a bad name to piece of shit. You know, it's fucking sickening. And then this is the kind of shit that lingers on social media platforms like Facebook and Twitter, which is, you know, the main topic of these, you know, of the show. But here, I'm going to talk about censorship on Twitter. This is an article that came out 3 years ago. Yeah, let's say a little over 2 years ago. It's censorship on Twitter. No fucking shit, it's on Twitter. No fucking shit. But let me go ahead and read it. Twitter has taken the world by storm. For many people around the world, it is the essential source of information on world events, as well as a way to express themselves online. Yet, as the impact and significance of Twitter has grown, so has the necessity to include some accounts for participating in social networks. As a result, allegations of censorship has emerged. And it has emerged quite a fucking bit, let me tell you. So number one for this is shadow banning accounts. Critics have been making allegations for years, but in 2018, Twitter has made an official announcement confirming that they will be limiting the visibility of suspect accounts. Whatever that means, suspect accounts. Officially, the company stated that the proliferation of trolls has sparked this shadow banning strategy, often associated with the censorship measures applied by repressive regimes. This was quite a change from how things were previously, when Twitter would only ban individual accounts due to the content of their tweets. The new strategy involves analyzing the patterns of tweeting. For instance, if a user regularly tweets to strangers, it might be a sign of harassment or trolling. So the shadow banning, that's probably why you see a lot of troll accounts on something like Twitter. Because a lot of these people, they use software, they use different technologies, whether it's on your mobile device or on your PC. They have ways of shadow, cloning themselves or staying in the shadows, if you want to put it that way. But there's still troll accounts out there, and they have multiple accounts too. And I have seen this. There's several trolls that I have dealt with 5-6 years ago who have probably about 2 or 3 dozen troll accounts on Twitter. A lot of them they don't use, but I assume some of them they don't use them because they probably got suspended or whatever. They just don't use them, or they don't remember the password to the account or whatever. But one user can have 12, 13, 14 accounts on Twitter. Now, granted, I think Twitter has cleaned that up a little bit, because in order to have an official Twitter account, same thing with Facebook, you have to have verification for it. You would have to have a verified phone number, verified email, etc. And phone numbers can only go so far. It used to be where you can use one phone number to create, let's say you want to create multiple emails on Gmail, on Google, okay? So with Google, you could create 10 email accounts with one phone number before it'll tell you this phone number is already associated with too many email accounts. Please use another phone number. A lot of these websites have cleaned it up a little bit. So, you can't use a phone number from more than 1 or 2 email accounts now. But that used to be a thing. And a lot of these people, a lot of these trolls, a lot of these internet offenders, they took advantage of that. They took advantage of that to make multiple accounts that they have, logins for. And they use these accounts to harass people online, whether it be YouTube, Twitch, Dailymotion, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, whatever. That's how they get by. It's called shadow banning accounts. And they get away with it. They're able to get away with it. But somebody like me who gets on there and I say one harmless little thing to somebody and they get offended by it, all they got to do is flag it and yep, you're suspended, you're banned, whatever. Let's see, censoring hashtags. Of course, this has been a thing too. While conservative activists in the USA have vocally accused Twitter of silencing their voices, others have pointed to their hashtags used by the social network for the critics to spread of hashtags, marked with that numeric symbol that you find on a telephone. Kiddies, it's not really a hashtag, kiddies. If you go back on your cell phones or telephones, it's a numeric symbol. You use it as a hashtag because it's a Twitter thing, it's an internet thing. In theory, hashtags are supposed to spread are supposed to spread based on the popularity and the speed at which they trend. And of course, a trending topic is something that's on top of the news today. You know, like let's say Biden passes away. That would be a trending topic. That would be all over the news today. You know, it's not just overall popularity that makes certain topics trend. They also have to be popular with new audiences as well as new themselves. This is done in line with Twitter's strategy to maintain the content that on their platform is fresh and grow the user base. So let's say you're brand new on Twitter or YouTube or TikTok or wherever. Let's say you're brand spanking new, okay? And you want to get yourself out there. You want to make yourself known. You want to have some kind of identification to get some kind of notoriety in the field of social media. All you got to do is trend something. And I've done it a couple times. Actually, last week before I got banned, I found a picture of Biden's name with a crack pipe on it. And I said, I forgot what I said it was, you know, and it was a smart Alex it was a very subtle comment, but it wasn't against Twitter's, you know, terms of service. And you know what? I got multiple retweets and likes on it. That's the first time I had something on Twitter that would get multiple retweets and likes, you know, but it is something when you take something, a trending topic, and you put it out there on your feed on Twitter or whatever, you'll get noticed. You will get noticed by some people. Not everybody, but you'll get noticed. You know, whatever's trending. And that becomes a thing. And I guess Twitter doesn't like that, so they'll censor it, you know. Banning accounts. While it's true that Twitter occasionally outright removes accounts, the matter of whether this is censorship is more difficult to gauge. To be banned, users need to meet the certain criteria, and Twitter is fairly open with what they comprise. Okay, fairly open. Twitter is not really fairly open. They will ban anybody. They will ban anybody for whatever reason. Let's say you get on Twitter today and you shit talk the fuck out of Trump and you say Trump is a big piece of shit. I hope he dies. Trump needs to be hung in public. This needs to happen to Trump. That needs to happen to Trump. And you know what? You can get away with it. You can get away with it because the far left liberal who support platforms like Twitter and Facebook and all them, they don't give a shit. Shit talk Trump all fucking day. Tell him he's a piece of fucking garbage that doesn't deserve to live. And you won't be removed. You won't be banned. There won't be any consequences to what you say. But God damn you if you mention one thing about Joe Biden. God damn you if you mention one thing about COVID-19. God damn you if you mention one thing about the Democratic Party or the Biden administration. Because as soon as you say something, you're banned for life. You're IP banned. Don't try to make another account. Don't do it, or we'll ban you again. Which is what happened to me, of course, yesterday. I was like, let me just make up a whole new email that, you know, I could implement my phone number with. And then it worked. And I created a Twitter account, right? And it was good for about 5 minutes. I kept refreshing the page, and I was getting ready to put my profile icon up there and everything. I'm like, okay, so far it's good. And the first person I actually messaged was you, Anunnaki, on YouTube. I was like, yeah, this is me. This is my new account. As soon as I sent that message, I get the thing at the bottom of the screen. Your account was suspended. Here, click here to learn more. I was like, oh, yeah, of course. Of course it's fucking banned. Let me check my email. And that's what I did. I checked my email, and it said your account was banned for evading suspension. Evading suspension. You mean to tell me if I make a mistake on my Twitter account, I can't come back and make another account? Even if I said, okay, I'll be a good little boy and I won't do anything bad. I will bow down to the Nazi General Joseph Biden. I will bow down to CNN, the Nazi propaganda, and I won't say anything bad about COVID. I won't say anything bad about Biden. But no, you don't even have that chance. You don't even have that fucking chance, man. It's like, no, you already had 1 or 2 accounts, you're banned. You didn't even get the chance to follow back. Do you know how they got you? I'm thinking either it's the way I named my account or I got IP banned. So I'm thinking Twitter now has an IP tracker on that kind of shit. I'm thinking it's IP ban. I'm not too sure. But yeah, you didn't even get a chance to do anything because I was already fucking banned. 5 minutes. You couldn't give me 5 minutes to enjoy Twitter, to look at somebody's feed. You gotta ban my account instantly for evading suspension. Let me tell you of a few individuals, and I'm not going to name them, but there's a few individuals that I know on social media who has multiple accounts, who has created multiple accounts. Their accounts get suspended every so often. They get reported every so often, but yet those individuals are still on the platform. They're still on Twitter. They're still on YouTube. These people are violating the terms of service of evading suspension, but yet nothing is done to them. Nothing is said to them. But yet somebody like me who posts something that is very subtle, but it's not vulgar, it's not attacking anybody, it's not attacking somebody's demeanor. I'm not saying shit about Black Lives Matter or the LGBT community. Fuck them in general, too. I'm not saying anything about them. I will reread the tweet. I will reread the tweet that I posted that got flagged. Mind you, okay, I will read the email. Hello, Arrow Entertainment. Your account has been suspended for violating the Twitter rules. Ooh. Twitter rules, big word, big meaning, specifically for violating our rules against hateful conduct. You may not provoke violence against, promote violence against, threaten, or harass other people on the basis of race, ethnicity, national origin, sexual orientation, gender identity. Oh, there's something new. Religious affiliation, age, disability, or serious disease. Note that if you attempt to evade a permanent suspension by creating new accounts, we will suspend your new accounts. If you wish to appeal this suspension, please contact our support team, which didn't do diddly dick for me because I appealed it, and within an hour or two, nope, your suspension remains. Fuck you. So, like I said before, I forgot what I was replying to. It was something against Trump. And there was 2 people I was replying to. So I put on there, spoken like a true libtard. Hey, how's Biden doing with using your tax dollars to fund crack pipes to drug addicts? Want to tell me about that, LOL? And that is the tweet that cost me my 4th Twitter account. That was the tweet. Was I harassing anybody of a certain nature, race, age, religion, gender, whatever? No. I was stating a simple fact, asking a simple question. But yet, oh my God, we're liberals and he's offending us. He called us a libtard. Click that report button. Click that report button. Haha, you're suspended. You're suspended. I didn't even get a fucking 7-day suspension. Usually that's what they would do. They would give you, like, what was it, a 3 or 4 hour suspension, then a day suspension, and a 3-day, and a 7-day, and then 30-day or whatever. I didn't even get a no 30 fucking day. Shit, on Facebook, they give you up to, like, I think 7 or 8 30-day bans in a year before they decide, oh, no, fuck your account. No, Twitter, they just went straight to it because I mentioned Biden's name. I mentioned baby Biden in the tweet. Oh my God, Biden is supporting our crack addicts. He's supporting drug addicts. Oh no, we can't have that leaking on Twitter. No, we'll suspend this account. That's exactly what happened. They banned my account over a fucking tweet that did not violate their terms of service. But let me tell you about this little list here when it comes to banning accounts. Okay, spamming, sending bulk posts to certain targets, or flooding Twitter servers with hundreds of marketing messages every day. Did I do that? No, that's something I didn't do. I didn't violate your TOS with that. Hacking. Anybody who seeks to access the Twitter systems is automatically out. Do I hack? No, I don't know how to do that fucking shit. I ain't no hacker. Fake accounts. While users can impersonate and parody others, copying bios and avatars is frowned upon. Did I make a fake account? No, but I will say this. Right around the time in December when I made that Twitter account, there was a troll on there that made a fake account of me that was impersonating me. Had my personal photos on there, that had my personal information on there as well. They were trying to pretend to be me, but they couldn't. They failed at it. Whoever the fuck it is, I don't care who the fuck it is. You know, they're there. That account is still on there to this day. You know? So this person who I have reported numerous times, more than 10 times I reported this fake account of me. And other people have reported it too. This account has been going around tweeting at random people, tweeting statements that were harassing them, attacking them. And I was reporting all this shit back to Twitter. And you know what fucking Twitter says? They had the fucking gall to tell me, oh, there's nothing wrong with this this tweet. There's nothing wrong with this account. They are not in violation of our terms of service. This person, let me reread this for you. Fake accounts. While users can impersonate or parody others, copying bios and avatars is frowned upon. So you're going against your own law, your own rule against your terms of service. You're going against that. You're going to fucking tell me that this account that I have reported numerous fucking times that is against your terms of service. And you want to sit there and fucking tell me in an email that this fucking person is not violating your terms of service? Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here, Twitter. Several people on your fucking platform violating your terms of service. You look at me over one little fucking tweet. Let me fucking reread it to you, okay? Oh, spoken like a true libtard. Hey, how's Biden doing with using your tax dollars to fund crack pipes to drug addicts? Want to tell me more about that? You will ban my account for something like that, but you will not ban a fucking account or several people in that matter. You won't ban them for making fake accounts. And it's not just my account. There's several people out there who have fake accounts out there of themselves. They either know about it or they don't know about it. You can't flag them because they're not violating your terms of service. That just sends my piss to the boiling point right there. Sending or linking to malware. No comment required. Never done that. Revealing private information of other users, such as doxing. I never doxed anybody, but sure as hell seen people on Twitter do it. I've seen several troll accounts. I've seen several people on fucking Twitter doxing personal information. It has been reported, but those accounts still exist to this fucking day. Nothing has happened to these accounts. Abuse and hateful content. This is often the most controversial aspect of Twitter's banning policy. What constitutes a threat or insult can be subjective, but as Twitter explains, most speech is protected. Promoting violence against other users, racial abuse, or targeted harassment are all prohibited, as is encouraging others to commit suicide. Let me read you my tweet again. Spoken like a true libtard. Hey, how's Biden doing with using your tax dollars to fund crack pipes to drug addicts? Want to tell me more about that? Is there anything in that tweet that is related to promoting violence against others? racial abuse, targeting harassment, or encouraging people to commit suicide? Can somebody tell me that? Is there anything in that tweet, that innocent little tweet that I got flagged for? Is there any of that implemented in that comment? I sure as hell don't fucking think there is. I don't see it. I really don't. Usually these rules are triggered by other complaints, which aren't always revealed in favor of the complainant. Even when they are, there's an appeal process that can result in rulings being overturned. Wrong. My appeal wasn't overturned. I'm pretty sure somebody else's was. Users temporarily removed from the platform may have to supply a phone number to access their accounts, which is surely a massive privacy issue, but it's not what we usually mean by censorship. Still, this hasn't prevented many people from accusing Twitter of removing followers unjustly. For example, the hashtag Twitter lockout spread early in 2018, where conservatives lost huge numbers of followers overnight. However, it looks like this purge was due to Twitter flushing out colonies of Russian bots or bots made for sale to Twitter users. You want to talk about bots now? That's your biggest excuse, Twitter? You want to talk about bots? Fucking bots? You fucking bunch of hypocrites. Censoring tweets. Does it happen? Of course it fucking does. Of course tweets get censored. I've seen it. I have seen it firsthand. It's happened to me. How to avoid falling victim to censorship on Twitter. I got an easier way of doing that. How do you avoid censorship? Stay the fuck off of Twitter. I've learned my fucking lesson now. I'm staying the fuck off of Twitter. Fuck Twitter. The hell with Twitter. Fuck them in their asses. To avoid getting censored on Twitter, here's the answer to y'all right here. This is how a lot of these trolls get away with it. And it's provided right fucking here. To avoid getting censored by Twitter, learn the platform's rules. Sometimes your actions may not be malicious, yet you fall under one of Twitter's punishable offenses. So it's good to practice. It's good practice to know what you're up against. It may also be handy to use a VPN, which is a virtual private network, to conceal your location and identity. Twitter uses location information to determine whether users are genuine, but it's not a precise strategy. So if you move around a lot, a VPN can help you stay on the right side of the platform's algorithms. So there it is, guys. There it is. This article I just fucking read explained it. And that's how a lot of these abusers of Twitter get around. By using VPNs, virtual private networks. You can get a VPN for free, or you can sign up for free or make one for free, but there's others that provide a service where you pay monthly or yearly rates to keep a VPN. But is it worth it? Is it worth it to sign up and create a VPN just to use a fucking social media platform? It's not. I shouldn't have to go to those lengths to do that. But these people, these repeat offenders, that's what they do. Because that is their life. To control, to offend, to harass people online at a consecutive rate. That's how they get away with it. That's how they get away with it. So somebody like me, who puts up a subtle but innocent tweet that isn't vulgar, it's not harassing anybody, it's not doing any of that, gets flagged, and I get IP banned. Am I pissed about it? No, I'm not pissed about it. I fucking laugh at it. I laugh at the fact that I had 4 Twitter accounts banned for some fucking reason, right? But now to learn that I have been IP banned, and yet there's people out there still on the platform that get away with shit. All the things that I have read within the last 15 minutes to you guys, violations of Twitter's terms of service. People are getting away with this shit. They're getting away with it. So let's see, Anunnaki Bro over on YouTube. I'm pretty sure you got 3 or 4 accounts out there that are mocking you, that are impersonating you, and you don't know about it. And yet this person or these persons are getting away with the shit. They're getting away with it. And they're fucking harassing people. They're going around impersonating you, harassing people, and you're like, who the fuck is this Anunnaki Bro? And they look it up and they see you're the first person that they see, so they're like, oh, I'm going to block this asshole because he's a piece of shit. Even though it wasn't you who did it, it was somebody else. And yet, when you go and you try to flag this other account, when you go and try to report them, nothing happens. Nothing happens. They're well within their rights. They're well within the terms of service. However, if you reply back to them, if it's not nasty or anything, and they report you, nope, you're gone. Fuck you, Anunnaki Bro. Fuck you. Your Twitter's gone. Your IP banned, etc. That's all it is. That's what happened to me. That's what happened to a lot of people who lost their Twitter accounts. Even if you're on Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, whatever, that's what happens to these accounts. All these platforms that you're on that you see, it's all crooked, it's all corrupt, it's all bullshit. You, the person who innocently uses these platforms, you who are well within your rights, who obey these rules, this conduct, this content, you're in violation. You mention any little thing, fuck you. Oh well. But these people on these platforms, they get away with it. They get away with it day by fucking day. I say, you know what? Twitter is going to go downhill. It's already in the shitter. It's waiting to be flushed. It's going to go right down the shithole. Along with platforms like Facebook, YouTube, Daily Motion, any other platform where this shit remains a thing. It's all in the shitter. It's ready to be flushed. That's why a lot of people choose to stay off of social media. They get tired of it. I go to social media because it's a thing that keeps you interested. It's something that keeps you busy, keeps you occupied. I usually like to follow stuff that's related to video games or retro stuff, nostalgic stuff, that kind of thing. Or like with Facebook, I like to keep in contact with friends and family. That's usually the go-to thing. Do I got my cousin's phone number who lives out in Ohio? No, but I do keep in contact with him on Facebook. I still keep in contact with him. You know, I keep in contact with other people. Maybe they don't want to give their phone numbers out. I don't blame them. I'll talk to them on Facebook. I don't care. You know? But it's like, when you try to speak your mind on a platform such as Twitter, you've got to remember your opinion never mattered. Your opinion is dog shit compared to somebody else's. Billy Joe Bob over here can keep calling you a piece of fucking shit. He can keep calling you a schmeat eater. He can keep calling you a retard on Twitter. No matter how many times you report him, it ain't going to go away. They're going to favor him over you. Even if you reply back, nah, I'm good. Go fuck yourself. Have a nice life. Nope. Delete it. Flagged. Suspended. No, you're gone. You harassed this guy. You made fun of his gender. You made fun of his race. You called him this. You called him that. No, fuck you. Goodbye. That's what happens. I've learned my fucking lesson about Twitter. 4 accounts lost. And to read this shit today that I've read to you all, I hope Twitter loses their stock. I hope they go bankrupt. I hope the motherfucker who runs Twitter, I hope he catches COVID and suffers greatly. Greatly. Just like Mark Zuckerberg. I hope he suffers greatly. These are all liberal motherfuckers. They're all liberal. They're all pieces of fucking dog shit. They can all fucking rot and suffer in hell. That's where they belong. Yes, you brought us a platform where we can access our information very easily at the click of a mouse button or the flick of a fucking thumb on your phone. But at the end of the day, when you need to vent and you vent peacefully and it gets flagged and you are a subject of suspension, I can't even think of the other words for it, but when you're targeted like that and you didn't do anything wrong, just remember, these platforms are ran by liberals. They could do whatever the fuck they want. You could sit there and say, I'm against the vaccines. I'm against the mask mandates. I'm all for freedom. And tomorrow your account will be suspended. It's fucking guaranteed. So I say, if you have a Twitter account, if you want to stay on there, stay on there. At least you know the risks that are involved. But I say, fuck Twitter. There should be a mass unfollowing of that website. If you're on Twitter, I say, join the convoy, join the protest, deactivate your accounts. Let's see how many accounts get deactivated within the next week. Let's see Twitter's stock drop. Fuck Twitter in their ass. Let's fuck them in their ass and make them humble. I am done with Twitter. Yes, I know there's a lot of people out there that I can't get in touch with whenever I go live or whatever. I still got Facebook and I still got Discord. I still got those platforms. And trust me, I'm here to stay on all those platforms right there. Twitter, go fuck yourself. You're a piece of shit. Anyway, guys, just about 2.5 hours in, my voice, it's getting there. I've been doing a lot of talking. I want to thank my buddy Mike the Empire, my co-host, stopped in today. Sorry you didn't get a chance to speak your mind a whole lot, man. We'll do that next time. So next time we do an episode of Tune In Live, if you're into video games, if you're into nostalgia, we will definitely talk a lot more about video games and look into the history of video games, 50 years of them, next time on Tune In Live. But thank you guys for coming out today and checking out the show over there on YouTube. If you are watching us on YouTube, our channel is Arrow Entertainment. Be sure to hit that like, subscribe button, hit the notifications for when a video gets uploaded and when we go live next time. Also, I'm going to be putting a lot more emphasis into using my cameras. So I'm going to be doing a lot more videos. I'm going to be putting a lot more videos back up and a lot more gameplay compilations on YouTube. So keep an eye out for that. Also, if you're following us, if you're watching us on twitch.tv/Arrow with a name, be sure to hit that follow button as well. We don't have a social media platform just yet for Arrow Entertainment, but when we do, I will announce it. I will put a video out on our YouTube channel, so be looking out for that. I'll let you know when that happens and all. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for coming out today and checking out the show. Tomorrow, I'm going to try to bring you a gameplay stream. We'll talk a bit about a lot of other things. So be on the lookout for that. Hit the notifications. Be updated. Be alert. Till next time, guys, I'll catch you on the flip.